Imagine you're building this massive, sprawling organization.
Oh, yeah, high stakes.
Exactly. You have, like, hundreds of people relying on you. Buildings are under construction, and your legacy is really just starting to take off.
Right.
But then, you leave town for this crucial commitment. And while you are entirely unreachable, like no phones, no internet, nothing, your right-hand man suddenly collapses.
The worst possible timing.
Literally the worst.
What?
And this is the sole person you've designated to take over the entire operation. He's given a 2% chance of surviving the night.
Wow. 2%.
Yeah, so everything you've built, the entire future of your institution, suddenly just hangs on a statistical improbability.
It completely shatters that comforting illusion we have about history,
Oh, absolutely.
We look back at successful institutions and just assume their rise was this clean, inevitable blueprint, when in reality, they were often just one fever away from total collapse.
Which brings us right into today's mission for you. Welcome to this custom-tailored deep dive. We are opening up a fascinating stack of 19th century historical notes.
Yeah, some really incredible primary sources today.
They detail the life of a major institutional leader, Don Bosco, and his eventual successor, Michael Rua. What we are exploring today is how a historical legacy actually gets built.
And it is definitely not what you'd expect.
No, it's not about these grand, sepia-toned visions. It is about navigating terrifying sudden crises, dealing with gritty logistics, and fighting, like, daily administrative wars.
Setting the scene here is critical, I think. When you dive into sources about 19th century spiritual or historical figures, there's this really strong temptation to view them as floating above the fray.
Right, like they're just glowing all the time.
Exactly. We imagine them delivering profound speeches and constantly operating on this plane of perfect peace. But the documents we have today strip all of that away.
They really do.
They reveal a profoundly practical story. This is about middle management, disease, zoning laws, and sheer stubborn institutional survival.
Okay, let's unpack this by establishing the stakes. We have a note here from the year 1860. The location is St. Anne's Villa.
Right, the country estate.
Yeah, in Cassel. It's owned by a benefactor, Baron Bianco of Barbania, and a Bishop Bemis there, ordaining a young man named Michael Rua to the priesthood.
A huge moment for him.
Definitely. Rua goes on to celebrate his first Mass at the oratory the very next day. Now, at first glance, that just sounds like standard biographical trivia.
Sure, just dates and places.
But the source explicitly flags a crucial detail. Michael Rua is not just another recruit. He is Don Bosco's future successor.
Which is everything.
Right. So why does that specific designation matter so much at this early stage?
Because it completely changes the mechanics of the organization. What's fascinating here is that by designating a successor, an organization fundamentally shifts.
Shifts how?
Well, it goes from being a one-man personality cult to an actual self-sustaining movement. Without a successor, everything Bosco is building, the schools, the shelters, the community, it all dies the moment he does.
Because it's all built around him.
Exactly. It relies entirely on his personal charisma and his relationships.
So he's basically a single point of failure.
Precisely. Rua represents institutional continuity. He is the bridge to the next generation.
That makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, and once you have a designated heir, you aren't just managing the present anymore, you are actively structuring the future. It signals to investors, to the church establishment, and to the staff that this project is going to outlive its founder.
Here's where it gets really interesting, though.
Oh yeah, the 1868 incident.
Yes, because if Michael Rua is the bridge to the future, that bridge almost completely collapses before it's even fully built.
It's a terrifying moment in the timeline.
We jump ahead 8 years to 1868. This crucial heir apparent falls critically ill at the oratory. The diagnosis is acute peritonitis.
Which is brutal.
It is. Now, I want to pause here because we hear terms like that today and think, okay, surgery, antibiotics, a few weeks of recovery.
Right, a quick trip to the hospital.
But this is 1868. What are we actually looking at here?
You are looking at a death sentence, period. In the medical reality of 1868, a 2% survival rate for acute peritonitis isn't just a grim prognosis.
Oh.
No, it is a polite way for the doctors to say they have completely exhausted their options. Peritonitis is an infection of the inner lining of the stomach and abdomen.
Oh.
And without modern antibiotics, a localized infection like that goes systemic incredibly fast. The inflammation spreads, sepsis sets in, and the organs just shut down.
And the sources note his condition gets so severe that he receives Holy Viaticum.
Right, which really underscores how far gone he was.
Can you explain that a bit for those who might not know?
Sure. So in Catholic theology, Viaticum is the Eucharist given specifically to a person who is actively dying. It literally translates to provision for the journey.
Wow. So they were certain this was it.
Exactly. Medically and spiritually, the institution has completely accepted that Michael Rua's life is over.
And this brings me to the detail that just baffled me in the notes.
About Bosco's location.
Yes. Where is Don Bosco while the future of his entire organization is lying on its deathbed? He isn't at the oratory.
No, he's not even close.
He is completely off the grid. He is away for 2 days in a place called Borgo Cornelise, fulfilling a long-standing commitment.
The communication lag of the 19th century is just staggering to think about in this context.
I just can't wrap my head around it. Let me play devil's advocate for a second here.
Go for it.
If Bosco is the visionary, and Rua is the crucial operational right hand, like the absolute linchpin for the future, how could Bosco just leave?
Well, you have to remember.
I mean, how does any movement survive when the entire succession plan is hanging by a literal 2% thread and the founder doesn't even know it's happening?
It exposes the sheer vulnerability of the time period. You couldn't just, text someone to rush back.
Right, no emergency alerts on your phone.
Bosco made a commitment in Borgo Cornelise. And in that era, you honored commitments because travel was arduous and scheduled months in advance.
So he just had to trust the system.
He left, assuming the machine was running smoothly. But if we connect this to the bigger picture, it highlights how much of historical legacy relies on sheer, unadulterated luck.
It's wild to think about.
The sources tell us that Rua does survive. He beats the 2% odds. But think about the fragility of that exact moment.
If he dies, what happens?
If Rua doesn't beat those statistical odds, Bosco returns from his trip to an absolute vacuum of leadership.
Everything just stops.
The institutional memory, the operational right hand, the designated bridge to the future vanish.
And their styles are so complementary too.
Exactly. If you look at Rua's later spiritual influence against Bosco's early vision, they needed each other. Bosco had this incredibly charismatic, visionary, almost freewheeling early approach.
Right, the big picture guy.
Yeah, and it was Rua who later institutionalized that vision through rigorous spiritual discipline and strict administration. If Rua dies in 1868, Bosco's early vision might never have been successfully translated into a lasting, scalable framework.
The entire trajectory of Bosco's organization, which eventually scales globally, was literally bottlenecked at a 2% chance of survival in a bedroom in 1868.
It really makes you question the inevitability of history.
It's terrifying when you realize how much of the modern world is built on people who just happen to survive terrible odds.
Oh, absolutely.
But surviving an unpredictable existential crisis like that is really only half the battle, isn't it? As we move through the sources, we see this big shift.
We do.
Instead of dealing with sudden near-death experiences, Bosco is suddenly fighting these grinding, daily administrative wars. It moves from unpredictable threats to very controllable environmental ones.
Exactly. You move from the dramatic life and death lottery to the mundane, harsh reality of daily management.
The unglamorous stuff.
Right, and this is where Bosco's actual leadership style really comes into focus.
Let's look at 1871. We have a record of Don Bosco formally writing to the mayor of a town called Cherasco.
A fascinating letter.
And this isn't like a diplomatic check-in. He is officially notifying the local government that he is completely withdrawing Salesian management from the local school.
Just pulling out completely.
Yes, and he cites its unhealthy location. He immediately transfers the entire staff and operations to a new boarding school in Varaz.
It's a bold move.
But wait, I have to push back on this.
Yeah.
You are managing a religious organization that relies on goodwill, donations, and local cooperation.
Sure.
Doesn't abruptly pulling an entire school out of a town completely nuke your relationship with the local mayor? How is that good leadership?
That is the exact tension he was navigating. But you have to look at what an unhealthy location meant in 1871.
It wasn't just like a leaky roof.
No, he wasn't complaining about a drafty building. He was dealing with poor sanitation, standing water, the threat of malaria, cholera outbreaks, or typhus.
Oh, wow. Actual fatal diseases.
Yes. If you leave your staff and students in a biologically dangerous environment just to appease a local politician, you are going to lose your people.
So it's a matter of empirical reality over political optics.
Precisely. Most leaders might try to compromise,
Right, form a committee or something.
They might petition the mayor for better drainage, wait a few years for approvals, and try to keep everyone happy while their students get sick.
Which is terrible.
Bosco looks at the mechanics of the situation. This environment is actively destroying the health of my institution, so he cuts his losses.
He doesn't even ask permission, does he?
No, he doesn't ask permission to leave. He formally notifies the mayor that they are already gone. It is a ruthlessly pragmatic approach to logistics.
The survival of the mission and his people supersedes local political harmony.
Every time.
That paints such a different picture of a 19th century spiritual leader. And it makes me think about the sheer physical logistics of that.
Oh, it must have been a nightmare.
Right. We aren't talking about sending an email and changing a Zoom link. Withdrawing a school in 1871 means packing up beds, desks, books, and people into horse-drawn carts.
They cross rough terrain, too.
And physically relocating them across the region to Varazzi. It is a massive operational flex.
And that level of operational demand takes an enormous psychological toll on a leader, which perfectly sets up the note we have from 1876.
Yes, the 1876 lunch note.
It's one of my favorites.
I was so fascinated by this one because it's so incredibly relatable to anyone listening who has ever felt overwhelmed at work.
Everyone's been there.
The source details Bosco returning to Turin after a long trip to Liguria. But instead of going straight back to his headquarters at the oratory,
He takes a detour.
he does. It notes his deliberate practice of stopping to have a midday lunch with an old friend, Father Valori. And the source gives us the explicit reason.
Which is very telling.
It says it was to avoid disrupting the oratory's schedule and to find quiet time to address urgent business.
It completely shatters the romanticized image we have of historical figures, doesn't it?
It really does. You picture the great founder returning from a journey, throwing open the iron gates, and delivering a triumphant speech to hundreds of cheering students.
Right, like a movie scene.
But the reality is that Bosco is acting like an exhausted middle manager. He knows if he walks through the front doors, he's going to be swarmed.
Oh, instantly.
He is literally hiding from his own staff just to get some paperwork done.
Think about it like a decompression chamber on a submarine.
I like that analogy.
If you just open the hatch under massive external pressure, the whole thing implodes. Bosco is besieged by his own success. The larger the institution gets, the more people need a piece of him.
A signature, a decision,
A dispute settled, a blessing.
multiply. Do you have 5 minutes for a quick question? By several hundred people.
Exactly. By choosing to lunch with Father Valori, he's doing two highly strategic things regarding boundaries.
Okay, what's the first?
First, he is protecting the institution's rhythm. The oratory operates on a strict schedule. If the charismatic founder bursts in at noon, the schedule collapses.
Classes stop, work stops, everyone wants to see him.
Right. He respects the institutional machine he built enough to not throw a wrench in its gears just for his own ego or a grand entrance.
He's subordinating his own importance to the daily routine of the organization.
Yes. And secondly, he is fiercely protecting his own cognitive bandwidth.
Because he's got all that paperwork.
He knows he has a backlog of urgent administrative struggles awaiting him. If he goes straight in, he will be reacting to everyone else's emergencies.
Oh, that is so true.
By hiding out for a few hours, he creates a buffer to clear his head, sign critical letters, and proactively plan his next moves before the chaos consumes him. It is a masterclass in executive boundary setting.
Which is such a brilliant strategy. But as we transition into the final set of sources, we see that, well, you can control where you put a school, and you can control where you eat lunch.
But you can't control everything.
Right. A decompression chamber doesn't protect you from high-level structural warfare. You can't boundary set your way out of massive bureaucratic opposition.
No, you cannot. Once an institution reaches a certain size, it inevitably collides with the establishment.
And that collision is documented vividly in 1882. We have a piece of correspondence that Bosco writes to Father Francis Dalmazzo down in Rome.
Things were really heating up then.
In it, Bosco expresses what he specifically calls his holy impatience regarding the complete lack of news about the construction of the Sacred Heart Church.
The bureaucracy in Rome was notoriously slow.
Rome is moving at the speed of, well, a 19th century bureaucracy, and Bosco wants action. But that's not even the most striking part of the letter.
No, the really intense friction is happening much closer to home.
Right. In that very same communication, he details his severely strained relationship with Archbishop Castaldi.
A major figure.
Now, for you listening, the Archbishop isn't just a colleague. He's the local ordinary, meaning he holds immense geographical authority over where Bosco is operating.
He essentially holds the keys to the region.
And Bosco writes this unbelievable line. He says, "Every day our relations with the Archbishop enter a new phase. Today, peace. Tomorrow, war. I accept it all, and in the meantime, keep moving forward."
That quote is the absolute distillation of his leadership philosophy.
Okay, let's unpack this, because what does this all mean in practice?
It's messy.
Frankly, I read "Today, peace. Tomorrow, war," and I don't see a harmonious spiritual endeavor. I see a bitter corporate turf war.
It really reads like one.
If the local archbishop has the canonical power to make Bosco's life miserable or even shut down his operations, why wouldn't Bosco just bend the knee?
That would be the easy way out.
Why not compromise and smooth things over? Why actively accept a state of war?
If we connect this to the bigger picture, it's because for Bosco, prioritizing perfect harmony would mean stopping the mission altogether.
Really? Just stopping it.
Let's look at the mechanics of this conflict. You have an innovative, rapidly expanding movement, Bosco's organization operating within the territory of a deeply entrenched traditional hierarchy.
Represented by Archbishop Gastaldi.
Exactly. The Archbishop naturally wants control, oversight, and a slower, more deliberate pace. But Bosco is driven by what he calls holy impatience.
I love that phrase, holy impatience. It implies that the frustration itself is justified by the mission.
It does. Rome's bureaucracy is distant and sluggish, which causes him impatience. But the Archbishop is in his backyard, which causes daily volatility.
It's a two-front war.
Yeah, and most people in leadership roles absolutely crave stability. They will delay a project for years just to ensure all stakeholders are perfectly aligned and all conflict is resolved.
Because they view friction as a sign that something is wrong.
Right. Like, we can't move forward on this project because the board isn't completely happy yet.
I've sat in those meetings.
We all have. But Bosco's mindset is fundamentally different. He views institutional friction as the inevitable cost of doing business.
It's just part of the job.
I accept it all, he writes. He isn't trying to fix the Archbishop's disposition. He isn't holding out hope for a permanent peace treaty.
He's realistic about it.
He recognizes that waiting for ideal conditions, waiting for everyone to agree with him, means the work of housing and educating these kids will completely stall.
So he absorbs the volatility so the institution doesn't have to.
He absorbs it, and he prioritizes relentless forward momentum over his own interpersonal comfort.
That is so profound.
He accepts that some days he will be in good graces, and other days he will be fighting intense bureaucratic battles. But the one thing that remains constant is the final part of his quote. And in the meantime, keep moving forward.
It's a completely different paradigm for understanding success.
It really is.
So what does this all mean? To tie all of these threads together for you, we started this deep dive talking about how easy it is to look at a historical timeline and see a clean, straight line of inevitable triumph.
The neat little summaries in textbooks.
Exactly. But by zooming in on these specific moments, from Michael Rowe's ordination in 1860 and his near-death experience, all the way to the bitter letters of 1882, we've seen that true legacy building is incredibly messy.
It is a jagged line of survival.
It requires a wildly unpredictable mix of elements.
Right.
First, it requires sheer, uncontrollable luck.
Like your sole successor surviving a 2% medical probability.
While you happen to be completely out of contact in another town.
Exactly.
But then it requires a deeply pragmatic, almost relentlessly stubborn response to the things you actually can control.
The day-to-day grip.
It's the audacity to pull an entire operation out of an unhealthy town without asking permission. It's having the executive discipline to hide at a friend's house for lunch, just to protect your organization's schedule from your own presence.
Which is still so funny to me.
And finally, it's the sheer grit to wake up every morning, look at a massive bureaucratic obstacle like a hostile archbishop, and accept daily warfare as just another line item on your agenda.
It absolutely dismantles the myth of the flawless master plan. And that brings up an important question for you to mull over after we wrap up today.
Okay, let's hear it.
We tend to look at successful companies, historical movements, or even just the careers of people we admire, and we assume they were executed perfectly from day one.
That they had it all figured out.
Right. But think about your own life. Think about your own workplace or your own long-term projects. What are your own 2% survival moments?
Those moments where everything could have fallen apart, but just didn't.
Exactly. Those crises where the whole endeavor hung by a thread and you just happened to beat the statistical improbability. How much of long-term success isn't really about having a grand sweeping vision at all?
But simply surviving the unpredictable chaos.
Yes, surviving it and then having the stubbornness to wake up the very next day, Look at the friction, the office politics, or the structural warfare and say to yourself, I accept it all, and in the meantime, keep moving forward.
What an incredibly powerful note to end on. Realizing that the messiness, the friction, and those narrow escapes aren't signs that you're failing.
Not at all.
They are the very proof that you're actually building something that matters. Thank you so much for joining us on this deep dive into the archives.
It's been great.
It has been an absolute privilege exploring these historical margins with you today. Keep questioning those straight lines. Keep exploring the gritty reality of how things are actually built. And most importantly, stay curious. We will catch you next time.